Thanks, Kenny. That's great. And I've remembered to press record now. I didn't catch that bit, Kenny. Sorry, that was you doing your brilliant bit, but it's about us, so it's all right. Okay. So thanks everybody for coming. And Kenny's already explained. I just want to about me. I've put my email address on there. So if anybody's got any additional queries, please just email me. Very happy to have individual meetings with anybody, but also just answer any of your queries. So, like I said, I'm going to show you this really special video that we didn't show last time, but it really sums up what Sussex is about. And I think that's something that you really should consider when embarking on something like an iPGCE, any kind of extra professional development, to be honest, especially in teaching, is do those people that you want to work with, do they align with your values? Are they singing from the same sheet that you are? So I'm just going to show you our wonderful Robin Banerjee. He's a really special person talking about what our university stands for. So it's only 2 minutes, so just bear with me for this. I hope that you can see this okay. Can you see this okay?
Sussex is a place for fresh ideas and critical thinking. For over 60 years, we have been working with partners all around the world.
Right, so that didn't work very well. 1 second, let me do it a different way. I will go desktop, share. Now, hopefully you can see it.
To strive for a future that's more progressive, inclusive, and fair. From launching the UK's first Mandela Scholarships to joining Erasmus at its inception, Sussex has always had a global outlook rooted in social justice and inclusive values. As our story continues, we confront deep challenges around climate crisis and biodiversity loss, global conflict, intensifying inequalities, and cultural polarization. Environmental sustainability, human flourishing, and digital futures lie at the heart of Sussex's mission to drive progressive change in a rapidly evolving world. Students and staff from over 170 countries call Sussex home, and our mission is transformative. Our graduates lead not just with knowledge, but with values that empower them to lead, create, and drive positive change across the globe. We're shaping impactful action, driving real solutions, and working side by side with global partners to take on the world's biggest research challenges. Innovative, meaningful partnerships are at the very heart of what we do. Together with other world-leading universities, NGOs, and industry, we are creating a future based on global collaboration. We want to work with people who share our ambition. So wherever you're from, your global journey starts here. Join us.
Oh, he's grand, isn't he? He really sums up who we are. He really does. It's just wonderful. So I'm just going to go back to our PowerPoint again and go from current slide. Can everybody see that okay? Yeah?
Just needs to be reversed.
Okay. Oh, what's it doing? Hang on 1 sec.
What displays?
Okay. Just try that. Is that better?
Yes.
That's better. Okay, so just quickly about teacher education at Sussex. We've been doing it forever. We were the first people in our country to take, it sounds bizarre really, isn't it, to do teacher education in school, whereas a lot of education providers, and maybe across the world this still happens, they do it just at university or just in college, and people don't have any contact with children. So we were the pioneers of the modern PGCE way back, probably well over 50 years ago now. And we are committed to quality, research-driven education for our teachers. And it is really about education for our teachers. It's not just about passing some assessments to get a qualification. We really do believe in looking at each individual teacher, their own circumstances, and moulding them into the teacher they want to be. So this is not a tick box way to get a PGC. It's a fully educational experience. So I'll just introduce the PGC again. I think a lot of you were here at the last one, so I'm going to do this quite quickly for you. It's here for career and personal development. There's something really, it is transformational going on a proper PGC, a PGC where you'll meet other colleagues, be part of a group, have contact with people like me and my colleagues, where we bring all of our expertise, our years of expertise, and our current experience training teachers here in the UK, we're able to share that with you where you are in your circumstances. It is a direct path to a master's as well, which makes our PGC really special. There's lots of other IPGCs out there. The market's got plenty, but they're not giving the same number of credits as we are either. So there might be cheaper versions out there. I'm very aware that there is one particular cheaper version out there, but it's not offering the same as we have. So colleagues do need to be careful that they're picking the right course, that if you wanted to go on and do a master's, which of course you don't have to, you can exit this with the PGCE. But if you wanted to go on to the master's, it's a direct pathway with every bit of credit going with you. So it will genuinely strengthen your pedagogy. So we're not just doing assignments that lead to PGC. The teaching that we're doing and the authentic assignments that we're doing will make a change to everyday practice in your classroom. So when I talk about the modules, you'll be able to hear how what you're learning in the course can be translated into the classroom. We really believe that it will change the outcomes of pupils in your classes. And I popped this quote because I was literally reading this paper yesterday for, I don't know how many times I've read it, but it's like reading a bit of a book that you really like and it gives you a bit of energy again. It's like students thrive when teachers thrive. So either you're right at the beginning of your teaching career, or you're at a point where you're like, I do need a bit of reinvention. I need to jazz my teaching up. I need to find new ways to do it. I want my pupils to really enjoy being in the classroom with me. This is the course for you, all right? It's to give you that reinvention and energy that we all need, don't we? We all need it at some point. And then hopefully it helps you stay in teaching. I've been reading an awful lot about, we've got challenges here in the UK about getting teachers to stay. We don't want teachers to leave after 5 years. That's when they're really starting to find their way of teaching and really understand children, and they're leaving. And we don't want that. We want teachers to be able to reinvent themselves and find new meanings so that they don't leave. They don't leave. And the children then benefit from experience. Something that's very special about Sussex in everything that we do, and I hope you got a flavour there from Robin, but he didn't talk about this bit necessarily, but it's the support that colleagues at Sussex provide to every single one of our teachers, okay? So we go way beyond, we're pretty much always available, to be honest. It's not necessarily a great thing, I don't think, but it's wonderful for you, yeah? So if you need any help or advice about anything to do with what we're doing on the course and to do with your teaching, we're here for you. So you will be getting an authentic experience as though you were here doing a PGC with us in the UK. The only difference will be the school that you're in, all right? So still lots of synchronous teaching and lots of support, and hopefully joining a diverse and dynamic community of people from all over the world, or from certain areas of the world anyway. So what will you learn on this course? Again, it's really practical, right? So there's lots of teaching where we're talking about teaching, not just talking about how to do an assignment, not just talking about, but talking about how we actually do teaching, okay? How we do adaptive teaching and how we assess and how we bring AI and how we get pupils to talk is a big focus in our course. But of course, you're going to learn research methods. This is a master's level course. We wouldn't do it if it wasn't. So you're going to learn how to research your own practice. Look at your own practice through the lens of what you read. Do lots of deep reading. Think, gosh, how am I doing that? That paper's taught me something. I'm going to change the way I teach. And then the final project that you do is you researching whatever you like about teaching, really. So that leads me into these. We've got 3 modules. It's a full 90 credits on the module. Every single assignment is at level 7, so we know it's full masters. That first module is a mostly taught module, so synchronous live teaching, where we're going to teach you about aspects of teaching and learning that you'll then be able to embed into your practice. That's a portfolio, so lesson plans, resources, people observing you. We build that portfolio with reflection. Second module is a lesson study, so you design lessons based on your reading, deliver them and reflect on them. It's lovely. It really does help you think about a particular class you teach and how you want to move them forward with their learning and what pedagogy you think will help, obviously heavily guided by us. And it links really well to the first module. So there might be a session in the first module like, oh, I'm really interested in that. I really enjoyed the reading for that session. I'm going to go away and do more about that. And then the final module is a personal research project. Now, it could be linked to a whole school focus. That's absolutely fine. You might be led by somebody who you're line managed by who's like, I think you need to work on this. But it still should be about how we make the lives of children better. Yeah, how we improve outcomes for our pupils. So teaching methods is a mix of synchronous and asynchronous. And if I show you, I'll put another little nice quote in there. Teachers flourish when they build empowering relationships. And that links to, I'll show you this now, actually. It's probably a nice time to show you this now rather than go through that slide. So there is a mix of synchronous. Now, they're not lectures. So we're all graduates, aren't we, here? And I know that we've been through degrees, particularly if you're like me in STEM. See Benjamin's maths, I can see he's probably going to nod at this. Lots of lectures where someone just fires stuff at you, right? You sit there and it's like someone's throwing ping pong balls in your face and you're like, oh, I switched off. Oh, I switched off. What's going on? We will not be doing that to you, all right? So these synchronous sessions are not you sitting in a little mini lecture theatre. They're us talking. They're going off in groups. They're talking about your real experiences in school. It's about us delivering a session, absolutely choreographed by us, but to use Vygotskian language, co-constructed with you as our cohort. We're all in this together. And then you'll notice that hours in the week, I've just done us up to sort of a nominal time in October. There's never too much in each week where you've got to turn up. We're very mindful, obviously, that you are all practicing teachers with heavy workloads, okay? So if we've got a synchronous session one week and we want a synchronous group tutorial the next week, there isn't another synchronous session in there, okay? Because we don't want you to have to turn up more than you absolutely have to. So I've designed the course to be a mix of asynchronous, where you will have activities to do. You won't just be sort of being talked at, but these group tutorials is where really good stuff is going to happen, where we get to be more personal with each other. Those will not be recorded because we want to be able to use pupils' names. We want to be open and free. You know, we want to be able to talk as though we're in a private room together. The synchronous stuff will be recorded because everybody's got lives, they've got families, they've got other responsibilities. So you won't, if you couldn't attend one of the synchronous sessions, don't panic. They will be recorded anyway, okay? And then you'll still get the benefit of the discussions going on, okay? So hopefully that's clear. So how to apply. So I'll just flick directly to this slide for a second. So at the moment, our prospectus is a closed prospectus page because we want to work with reputable schools like MUIDS and schools like that, okay? So at the moment, it's not open to everybody. Might be in the next few weeks, but we'll see how we get on. So you definitely need that link, okay? You can't get in without that link. So I'm going to post that in the chat while Keith does his talking, all right? So I'm just going to pop back for a second. So the eligibility, you can be a brand new or an experienced teacher. Both are absolutely fine. We're expert in teaching both types. I mean, obviously, we're massive experts in teaching brand new teachers. So if you're brand new, you needn't be worried at all. But in order to get through this and get enough practice and be able to do the assignments, you've got to be able to teach at least 5 children up to 5 lessons of up to 10 pupils in each class. So one-to-one supervision isn't going to be able to do it, all right? So you've got to be able to teach 5 lessons of 10 kids. We're looking for an IELTS of 6.5, okay? There are certain elements of that we could go down to 6, but we need it to roughly be 6.5. We're not going to go lower than 6 in any element. A degree equivalent of 2 of a 2 UK. But again, we could discuss that because we're not bound by the equivalencies for our course. We can modify that based on individual school responses. So if Dr. Kenny was saying, no, they're absolutely fine, they're working really well as a teacher, even if their degree doesn't meet that, we are okay with that. We're absolutely fine. There'll be a tiny little partnership agreement for Kenny or Matt to sign, and the application, which I'll show you in a sec, does need Kenny to sign it off just to say that he's okay with you doing it, or Matt could do that too. So there we go. That's what the prospectus looks like. That's the link that you need, all right, which again, I'll post in the chat, but also send to Matt immediately after this so it can be sent out, okay? But maybe if you take a picture of that or something, you can see it while I'm chatting, okay? So if we take a picture of that quickly, or just screen grab, that's grand. But I'll pop it. I'll just copy the link for now. It won't let me do it. I'll have to do it a different way. I'll do it when I stop talking to you. So this is what the form looks like, okay? So really simple. It's exactly what you'd expect. And then a personal statement. Now, in that bit, what we want to hear is why you want to do this type of iPGCE, all right? So why you want to do an iPGCE where it's not just assignments, but it's learning with a group, why you want it to transform your teaching. So we want to hear in there what your teaching experience is and what you want to learn by doing this. And then your CV can just be uploaded as a PDF, which just tells us about your qualifications, all right? So it's exactly what you'd think it would be. It's really standard, okay? So nothing, no surprises there. Now, on the front page of the prospectus, it's a little bit easy to miss and hard to find. But there's a little form down there. Can you say they're a head teacher? So make sure that Dr. Kenny knows that you're applying, or Matt, whoever's going to sign this off, to confirm that they support your application. But look, it's going to take them 30 seconds to fill that in, right? So it's just their name, institution, and that they agree that you can do it. All right. So we just need to make sure that nobody's doing it without Dr. Kenny and Matt's approval. Okay. Because we want to know that you can do the course, that you've got the right conditions for you. And it's part of our support framework. Okay. So I'm going to pass you on to Keith. Okay. So Keith, just let me know when you want to press go on each slide.
Okay, thanks, Fee. Yes, so we've already been introduced as head of education, but both Fee and I, one of the things that's distinctive about our career trajectories is that we're rooted in schools as practicing teachers, and in a sense, the currency of everything that we've done after that is based on just significant amounts of time on working on our practice, improving our practice, and then actually our practice becoming developed enough that we could share it with others. So I think that's really important. So that sometimes it can be a bit of a false split between, training and practicing and being developed. And we feel as though all of those things are very codependent on each other, and actually really improve teacher well-being and practice, and then the outcomes for students. So I've been a teacher, I've been a school leader, I've worked in initial teacher education, and I lead the part-time masters. So I'm here to talk about the transition from the iPGCE, which is a master's level qualification, to the full masters. So Fee, if you could move us on. So this course, the Masters in Education at the University of Sussex, has existed for at least 30 years. And if you've had this talk before, you will know that I did it. I did it about 30 years ago. So that's how I know how long it is. So our commitment to initial teacher education and postgraduate certificate in education is 50, 60 years old. And certainly the Masters is at least 30. All of us in education, so Kenny, Matt, Fee, me, are committed to the ongoing professional development of teachers. It's really important they get high quality training at the start, but actually it's as important that teachers are continued to be inspired and supported, and also challenged to develop their practice. So it's in that context that this Masters, and the same for the iPGCE, exists. It's there in support of practice and aligned to practice. Hence the need for people to be being practitioners. in order to get the most out of both the iPGCE and the masters. There are all kinds of ways in which teachers are developed. They're going to have a long career. I was in school, it's hard to say, but I started in 1993. I finally finished about 2 years ago, but for a good 10 years, I was working in university and school. But what maintained me was that I was being developed by my school, but also at the university. So there's all kinds of ways in which we're developing through our careers, personally, professionally, academically. Both the iPGCE and the masters operates on the principle that teachers already have existing professional knowledge. So there's a lot of affirmation that goes on. When Fee was talking about the way in which we work in our groups with you, a lot of it is about sharing practice, is about using and feeding on the specialist knowledge that people come to the course with. The context in which people then want to continue their studies and what they might continue to focus on is very much up to the individual student. And I think that's the same for the iPGCE. So it may well be they want to do a research project which is about implementation of something that's already happening in the school. It could be developing, it could be improving aspects of practice. It could be challenging some practice where there are things that the school really want to do, and you might be the one that innovates and tries it out in a small scale research project. The iPGCE is 1 year, 90 credits. The Masters is 1 year, 90 credits. So Fee, if you just move on, please, to the next one. This just explains that a full Masters is 180 credits. You've got 90 from iPGCE. And in year 2, if you moved on to the Masters, you do a 30 credit module between September and December. And then you would do a dissertation, which would be a small scale empirical project, and it's double weighted. So it's a 60 credit module. And you will see my images are, they're taken from my visit to Mahidol. And Fee and Robin Banerjee talked about values. The University of Sussex is very proud of its tradition of being a very inclusive university and very proud to be based in Brighton, which is an incredibly diverse city. And it was really lovely to see that reflected when I walked around Mahidol, your school. Right, next up. So I'm not really going to talk about the modules. There's essentially one which sets up the dissertation. So it's about a research proposal where you get some more input on research methods, so you can make informed decisions about whether you're going to do a quant study or a qualitative study or a mixed method study. So that's one module. And then the next one is the full-on dissertation. If you can move on, Fee, please. In keeping with the iPGCE, the choice of topics will be defined by you. It might be in a subject, it might be in a phase, it might be an aspect of pedagogy, it might be a pastoral topic that you're interested in. We're here to support you, to enable you, to empower you to research areas that are of personal, academic, professional interest to you. So we are here to enable you, and we work alongside you when it gets to the dissertation in order to, as I say, allow you to focus on areas which are of real interest to you. And with that motivation will come the effort that will be required, because a master's is a significant qualification and achievement. Fee, if you could move on. Right, so obviously people want to know some questions. So here are some quotations from our students. If you click again, I don't know if they come up. Yeah, they should come up. I will let you read them, but essentially one is about relevance, right? So this isn't an academic as in academic in the other meaning of the word, where it's not kind of related to what you do. The two things have to align in order for it to make sense. And so it's absolutely relevant to practice, what's happening in your classroom, in your department, and in your school. There's the opportunity to innovate. And I work with people at the start of their career and people who have been teaching. I talked to somebody yesterday who's been teaching for 24 years on our masters. But there is the opportunity to innovate, to rethink. and to change practice or to at least try something out, as long as it's within the acceptable bounds of the school and its ethos and its expectations. A very practical question, I think, for iPGCE and Masters, is it manageable? We design these courses for busy, in the main, full-time practitioners. So I think it's important that that the workload is manageable for people. Often these courses are not just part-time courses; they're almost spare time. And then the last two is the levels of challenge, because I think there needs to be appropriate levels of challenge, but also support, Russell. Okay, Fee, I think that's it from me.
Brilliant. Thank you, Keith. Right, I'm going to stop the share. And then what I'll make sure that I do is get the hang on a sec. Gonna get that link and pop it in the chat so that we've got it. One sec. Gonna need open it and then I can copy it and pop this in the chat. To everyone. And there's the link to the application so that you've got it. Okay, so I've popped that in the chat. And then what we can do now is we can just take any questions that you might have. So anything at all. It doesn't matter if you think it's a small question or a big question, just anything at all. Feel free to pop your hand up and ask away. Oh, Fanafat, you've got a question.
Hello, my camera is not working properly.
Don't worry.
Sorry about that. Uh, Hi, so I see that the requirement for the course is to teach 5 hours a week for 10 students, right? And does it have to be the same set of students, or I can like because currently we have the co-teaching what's called co-teaching method that I as a lab technician or some other TA can co-teach with the teacher. But the problem we currently have when we are looking at it is the teacher teach for per session per set of class is 3 sessions a week. So it fall into some weird like 5 it will fall into some weird like I can either do 6 or 3 or maybe go up to 4 if we include like uh do some other lower credited course for the student. So I'm not sure. Is there any flexibility of it, or I need to go for 5 and we gonna figure something out?
Oh, I think we could probably figure something out. I mean, the way that we look at, if we looked at it over a longer term,
Yeah.
so our student teachers start on very little teaching. So I think if we looked to build it up, I'm looking to Matt here to see if he could sort of help with stuff like this. That if you looked at it over a fortnight as well, or over a month, if we averaged it over a month, that on average you were getting to about 5, but you certainly wouldn't need to do that sort of straight away. I would think that but it's if you for the second assignment is what I'm thinking is that you need to design a sort of a series of lessons and try and get that into a certain time frame. So if you weren't going to be able to, I mean, it wouldn't have to be with the same children necessarily, but it would have to have the same sort of theme across those lessons. But it's nothing that we couldn't work out, Anafat, absolutely. But it's sort of roughly 5 lessons per week, but we could certainly build up to that. It wouldn't need to be 5 straight away at the beginning of the course. We could certainly build up to that. That would be okay.
All right, thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, super.
Okay.
What we're able to do is look at each person's criteria and circumstances and find a way through it. Yeah. So what we've put as sort of like a bench, like a sort of a line, is to give us something to work with. Otherwise, everything seems like a problem. Whereas if we've got a sort of like, well, we're looking for that, but hang on a minute, we're going to get some lessons there, some lessons there. We can then modify the assignments to suit your circumstances. So don't worry about it. It'll be fine. It'll be
All right.
fine.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Any other questions? Oh, Stephen.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to ask about assessment only QTS. I found this in your website.
Sorry, say that
Yeah,
again.
I don't know much about this assessment only QTS.
Oh, that's what you would do after. So we're providing the PGCE in quite a different way to other people, I will admit. It is more like a sort of QTS style course because you are actually being taught. A lot of PGCs out there, the international ones, you're not really being taught. You're getting access to videos and you're sort of self-directing yourself. This is really quite different. This is structured like you're almost in person on campus, but we're trying to do it, with you where you are. The QTS courses, so just a little sideline there, that would be a much heavier involvement and it would involve our government, right? Which we just don't want to do at all. Okay. Any government, doesn't even matter which one it was, we just don't want to deal with governments. And it makes it very complicated. However, what we do offer after, if someone was ever to come to the UK afterwards, because you've already got our PGCE, you can get a job with a PGCE and then do what's called an assessment only QTS. So you get a job in a school as an unqualified teacher. So quite often that would be in an independent school because they can employ unqualified teachers, or an academy chain, which most of our schools are now anyway. And then you can do a short course. It's normally about 3 or 4 months for most experienced teachers. And then you've got your QTS that way. And it's a lot less money than doing an IQTS or doing QTS here. So it is another way to do it. So you sort of see it as the PGC first. Then if you wanted to move somewhere, well, it would have to be here. We would put you on our our QTS assessment only route. And then you'd be qualified well within about 6 months, certainly within a year.
Okay, thank you for clarification.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. Anything else? Go on, Benjamin.
Hi. Can you hear me properly? Did you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Nice. Okay, so I am a TA as well, and I plan to co-teach just like in the past. But the thing is that the teacher that I plan to co-teach with, um, I'm not sure how much he will allow me to do the lesson planning. I mean, I think he is open for my input, but at the end of the day, it's his class, and yeah. So what do you think about that?
No, that's absolutely fine, Benjamin, because you can, I think when we come to do one particular assignment or even the second one, if there could be some flexibility there about how you are adapting that little sequence of lessons. Normally it's only about 4 to 6 lessons for that second assignment, right? So in conversation with the lead teacher that you're working with, it would be, look, I really want to have a focus on a particular area of adaptive teaching, or it's about questioning, or I've got these pupils who have additional needs. Can I adapt this scheme to target those children? I'm going away, I'm doing some reading, which will really benefit this teacher anyway, because you're going to go away, do a bunch of reading, discuss it with them. I mean, this is co-learning here, but you doing a lot of the work, right? So there's benefits for the co-teacher. And then you would plan those lessons slightly differently, but I understand that the core of those lessons will be from that teacher's scheme. And that's quite often what we have here too, that there's a set scheme of work that our teachers modify in their teaching. The portfolio that you would do for the first one could absolutely be done through doing a scheme of work, because your stories will be about your interaction with your children, learning about behavior management, being, your planning and how you adapt for certain lessons, because every lesson still has to be adapted for that time for those pupils, right? So don't worry, that's fine. That's fine. It's not that different to how we would have it here, to be honest. It's really not that different. It's okay.
It's wonderful to hear that. So yeah, probably after this, I'll have a conversation with him about about
It doesn't have to be drastic, right? And you can warm them up to change. You
sure.
can start small and build later. Yeah. But for now, you'll just find, if you're just finding your feet, having that connection with the other teacher is wonderful. It's a safety net for you that you've got this scheme that you can work with, and then gradually you'll be able to adapt and change your practice. ready to be independently flying on your own. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Love your energy.
Oh,
Love
thank
you
you.
back. Thank you.
Thanks, Benjamin. Any other questions? Are we good? Are we sure?
Hello.
Hi, hi.
Okay, I'm just want some clarification on the English language requirements for non-native speakers.
Yeah.
Uh, Usually that costs a little bit of extra money. Since we already qualified for this, can we waive this?
Yes, I think we've already had discussions about that, haven't we, Keith? That's fine because you're already teaching in English. That's correct, isn't it, Matt? Yeah. If we're working with a school where the language of instruction is already English, we can waiver the IELTS. We can just waive that. It's all fine. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well done for bringing that up. I was supposed to bring that up. Thank you. Yeah, if that gets popped into the application, that would be grand. And then we just wait because it's us deciding our entry requirements. This is the joy of not working with the government, right? We can decide. It just gives us a bespoke way of doing things that for each of you we can discuss each of your circumstances and we can modify accordingly. But yeah, that was a good thing to bring up. Thank you, David. Brilliant. Any other questions? Because these have all been bangers. We're good. We're good. Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming to listen to us again. If you have any questions at all, I'll just pop my email in the doodah again, fb64@sussex.ac.uk. I didn't put the @ in. Shouldn't type live, should you? On a funny keyboard. There we go. That one's right. Okay. So fb64@sussex.ac.uk. Any queries at all, just drop me an email. Okay. Now I'll answer all of them. Hopefully in a really
Can
positive.
one last thing. Can
Yeah.
you go through about the deadline?
Yeah. So well, we're going to keep the applications open until around about the end of June. Which is quite late for you anyway, because you break up before then. So we will definitely need to close applications around the end of June. So we know who we're dealing with. We can make the plans. We can contact all the different schools. So end of June for application. But for us, if I'm honest, the sooner the better. Because the sooner we know who we've got on the course, the sooner we know which other partners we're going to say yes to work with us. So it does really help our planning and to let our bosses know that everything's going well. So the sooner the better would be grand. But if you've still got things to sort out, don't worry, it's not going to close from underneath you. That's why it's really important to sort of stay in touch with me as well.
Can I ask if any of you are not attached to the International Demonstration School? Are you all from Matt and Kenny's school? Is there anyone from a different school? No? Okay. Just to say that I put into the link as well a video from which captures the experiences of some of our students, because sometimes it's good to hear from them. So you feel free to copy the link. Oh, okay. BSIB, Sarah.
BISB. Sarah. Okay. Okay, that's good to know.
Yes.
Thank you, Sarah. Brilliant.
Great.
That's brilliant.
And are you based in Bangkok?
Yes, it's based in the international school in Bangkok. Yeah.
Great.
But I used to work in MUIDS. That's why I joined in case something interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, thank you.
Spread the word, Sarah.
You.
Sure. It's very interesting. I'll spread the word.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Give them my email. Okay. Any more questions or are we good? Excellent. All right. Well, I really look forward to getting your applications. I really do. It'd be great to be working together next year and get our cohort together and get this started. It'd be marvelous. It'd be really marvelous. But unless you've got any other questions that you just wanted to sort of do it in a smaller group, please feel free to go because we're eating into your evening. So thank you so much for coming out of school time. I really appreciate it. I shall stop recording now. Thank you.
Matt, is there anything you want to say?